Hi, I'm Jill Chivers from Shop Your Wardrobe and 16 Style Types.
And I'm Imogen Lamport from Inside Out Style and 16 Style Types. We've been asked the question, how do you know when you've reached critical mass in your wardrobe? And so somebody else said, your happy place. And I think they can be the same and different. And that's something we even, can talk about. What does it mean?
Yeah, this reaching a place in your style where you feel you've got it together. This is what I took critical mass and happy place to mean, and you're really happy with your style. You're happy with the items that you have. You're happy with your experience of your style. You have a sense of joy or peace or whatever those positive words are about your style. But the critical mass word I thought was also interesting because that could also be about physical space.
Yes, I've only got so much wardrobe space to store stuff in. So
maximum capacity.
Maximum capacity. I cannot put anything else in.
Yeah.
And so what do you do?
Yeah, exactly. Well, how do you recognise when you're there? And then the second part of the question was around, well, how do you make sure you stay up to date?
Yes.
Which is also, I think, another interesting question. Yeah.
So I think especially with critical mass, if we just think about space-wise, that if you go, I've got X amount of space, then when you do hit a point where you go, I've reached that limit and I really can't jam anything else in there, you need to create a one in, one out policy or something like that to because you will be overwhelmed.
Absolutely. I know that April Lane Benson in her over shopping programs, she has 6 key questions for people who tend to over acquire, and one of them is, where will I put it? Such a practical question, and myself with tendencies to over shop, that is a really important question because we never wear what we can't see and we can't access. So having your wardrobe organised in a way that you're accessing what you're wearing the most is incredibly important for having a working wardrobe and having it work for you. But when you do have maximum capacity, then what do you do? And I had this happen to me fairly recently. My wardrobe is a well-oiled machine. There's not a lot of extra space. But because my love of flamenco is now reaching, stratospheric heights, and I'm making my own flamenco skirts for practice, I had to do a major review of one section of my wardrobe where I had sort of 2 baskets for my flamenco stuff, and now I need 4. And I gave myself permission for that. But what it meant was I had to review a whole section of my wardrobe and I had to make decisions. And one of them was, how important are flamenco skirts versus this other stuff that will have to go? Because I am not going to get into, it's going to go into the shed or any of that kind of stuff. It's either in the space to be worn or it's gone. That's my personal policy because this whole sort of Neverland.
I've been into houses where I've been in there's a wardrobe in the dining room because we just keep expanding, and I think that's actually quite a negative thing to do. And I also think about too that if you're looking at something going, will I bring something in or out? That if there's nothing in your wardrobe you can feel letting go of, then maybe you don't like this new thing enough.
That is an excellent point, and that is a in the shopping moment analysis to do. And knowing what you have in your wardrobe is a huge part of being able to do that when you're in acquisition mode.
So if you can't think of a thing that you'd be happy to let go of, that you love this thing more, then maybe that's a point. That's something you go, I've hit critical mass. Like that. There's one answer. How about if it's a happy place though? So there's another way of looking at it. So I think this is where, when you've got your wardrobe sorted, like you've got your style, you've got capsules, you've got outfits, it's really easy to put things together, you like everything, they make you feel good. You hit a happy place with your style. It's not actually about size, it's not about space so much.
That's right.
It's actually much more. And I think with that, it's that I feel satisfied. I feel like every time I get dressed, because I think one of the things that can be quite a useful exercise to do is, say you go to think about the last time you you go to an event or you're putting an outfit together and you think, no, I really need a topper to go over this because it might be cold this evening when I go out. And then I go through all my toppers and I try them on and maybe the shapes are not right, the style's right. Then I go, okay, well this is a gap. So I'm not quite in my happy place. Like I haven't got quite enough toppers, or none of my shoes are right, like they just don't go. So therefore it might be, okay, well that's not, but I think it's that point where you go, I've got the capsules and I've got the, and everything goes together and I've got accessories and, I'm actually feeling really happy. I'm feeling calm, I'm feeling happy, I can get up, get dressed, go out for all the different parts of my life. I'm not saying no to opportunities because I don't have the right thing to wear, and I think that's...
And I think part of that can also be around if you have possibilities as part of your style journey, that even if I don't have the perfect item, I have enough faith in my ability to improvise a solution for that event, that it might not be somebody else might need a specific item for that, but for me, I'm actually happy to play a little bit or stretch the style boundaries, and I know that I can make any situation in my life work with what I've got, and that internal experience is at a very high level.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that's a happy place. So I think once you've hit your critical mass or your happy place, so we've already talked a couple of little things to think about.
Yeah. But
so I think with that kind of thinking about, think about if you've had an experience recently where you've been a bit dissatisfied with your outfit, to go, well, what was wrong?
Yeah.
Did I not have the right things to go there? That can help you go, am I fully at that happy place?
Yeah.
But once you are at that happy place where you've hit that critical mass and you can't imagine letting go of anything, so therefore nothing new comes in.
Yeah. Well, that's the theory.
then there's the thought of, okay, well, time goes by and things will wear out.
Yes.
So one of the things that happens is you can have favourites, but they get a bit tired and old. And I often think that there's a point where you go, as much as I've loved that, I have to let it go.
Yes.
Therefore, you know, now for some people, and I know I've seen a spreadsheet, which is, I know a t-shirt lasts, and I've actually, and this is something that I'm looking at doing a blog post on when I get around to it, is on just how long garments, like fabrics, will actually work for, like how long before they do give out. So you might say a t-shirt really has 2 years in it.
Right.
You know, your average jersey t-shirt probably has a couple of years of a reasonable amount of wearing before it gets a bit pilled and old and, you know, versus you might have a suit jacket that might have 5 or 6 years in it quite happily if you're wearing it regularly. So we're talking about regular wear rather than I wear it once every 6 months.
Yes.
Then it could go on for almost ever.
Yeah.
But that kind of regular wearing. So there are different fabrics. You'll have to always go, there'll be a point where you have to replace things. And then there is also the fashion cycle. And now not everybody, I'm not saying you have to go out and follow fashion, but there's an awareness of, it's the zeitgeist. It's that I'm not looking now, unless you are vintage or very creative, those two are outside of fashion. But if you're in that kind of, I'm in the normal sense of what's around, going, if I'm still wearing stuff that's from 10 or 15 years ago and the overall silhouette looks nothing like I'm seeing anywhere, there's time to maybe reconsider and go, it's time to change.
And I think too, part of that is not just the items you have, or sometimes not even the items you have, but the way that you wear it. We were having a conversation the other day. I turned up and I was wearing these booties with some tights and a dress, and I said to Imogen, you know, how do you think this look works for me, as I sometimes sneak in a little bit of style consulting. And she said, it's very popular now. And I went, oh, is it really? I wouldn't know. I don't pay attention just to fashion trends.
But it's in the zeitgeist. So as much as you're not paying attention, your subconscious is picking it up.
And neither of those items, nothing I was wearing was new, was from a current fashion cycle, because that doesn't tend to be my thing. But I was wearing it in a way that had a sense of, I suppose, contemporariness to it. And so I think that's another thing to consider. It's like hairstyles and makeup. If you're still doing them exactly the same way you were doing them 10 years ago, there's a chance that one of those things is letting you down in some way. It might be small, but it's always worth a bit of a review, new information, and sometimes it's tweaking. It's not a massive overhaul. No. It's just a little bit of tweaking of things, and I know I'm in a very happy place with my wardrobe, and that idea that I don't need anything new. I mean, it is theory for me, and I still struggle with that. I've been very honest about the fact that my, compulsion to overshop, I believe, will probably be with me for the rest of my life. It's something that I hopefully manage with some grace and dignity, but being aware of that, and that one in, one out, is a huge part of it. The other thing I have is, even though everything that I have, it fits my colours and it's a signature style, that kind of stuff, and I don't really believe in if you haven't worn it for 6 or 12 months, that's not really my thing. I will still cast a time overlay on some things to say, yes, this dress might be good for me and all those things, but I haven't worn it. And so it's not a favourite for whatever reason, and I don't even have to analyse it. I know analysing could be good, but I'm not going to. I just haven't been wearing it. Do I love it? It's getting a bit of a no on that. I can let things go, and that releases a bit of space. So my happy space is in almost, I exactly a constant state of movement. It isn't, but it's dynamic and alive. It's never set, done, finished, never to be reviewed.
So, but if you are someone who goes, I've got a maybe more classic style, it's very easy that it can go for some years. You're not, like not everybody loves shopping. Like not everybody wants to have shopping and style as their focus. Like you enjoy it as a pastime. It's a hobby.
Right.
Like, and part of it's that sensory stimulation. Like, I mean, I enjoy shopping. I enjoy that's something I enjoy. There's an aesthetic thing. There's a whole lot of stuff that goes into shopping I find quite enjoyable.
Yeah.
But if you're not a shopper, and there are many people who aren't, that find shopping and then environments overwhelming and all those sorts of things, I would say, necessary. As far as how when do you need to think about, I need to look about this again, I would say, once every, like maybe once a year or once every 2 years, or even sometimes, like, you could put it aside and go, I'm just not even going to think about it for 2 years. But after 2 years, I think you need to really take a good hard look. And I'll do this often at the end of seasons or the beginning of new seasons.
Yeah.
So particularly when I'm going from winter to summer, when I then start looking at my summer wardrobe, I might go, well, what I wore last summer, I'm now seeing, because I've not worn it for a long time, seeing with fresh eyes and gone, oh, I realise that t-shirt's got a bit, it's got a bit tacky and old now. Like, I'm just going to let that go.
Yeah.
So I've got kind of, because when you're wearing it all the time, you really don't notice, versus I can actually look at it as if it's not mine again. So it's got pilling, it's got staining, it's, there's some reason or other. You're going, it's got tired.
Yeah.
And I hadn't noticed it when I was wearing it all the time. So they go, well, that's obviously like, let it go. So that's often a seasonal change can be a great time to just do a little assessment. Maybe it's just a mini assessment to go, is this still up to my standards?
Yeah.
And do what I call the would I buy it from an op shop?
Yeah.
Which I'll link to. And then there is is it something that I'm still seeing around? Is it still in the zeitgeist? Is it still in the, what I'm seeing around? Is everybody else, are we still wearing skinny jeans? Now, if I look around and go out, and the next time I go to the supermarket, and the next time I go to work, and the next time I go out and I'm on public transport, I look around and I go, yep, everybody else is still wearing skinny jeans. Keep it.
Right.
But if you look around and go, is everybody else still wearing coloured jeans? And I'm going, oh gosh, maybe there's one here or there, but that's it. I'm going to go, maybe that's something I'm going to consider. Is it still there? Yes. Is it still, in the kind of current
and the way I
fashion.
would interpret that is it would go into the review, not necessarily to be gotten rid of. That might be its outcome, but it might be, how can I rework this or wear this in a different way? And or do I really, really, really love it? Because that's a really important thing for me. If I really, really love things, then whether or not others are wearing it is actually inconsequential to me. But definitely that review thing. And I do that review thing on a regular basis. I have a permanent bag that is my charity store bag. And particularly if something leaks out at me during the day. So it's been a happy place item, and then for some reason I wear it a couple of times, and I will actually put items out to be worn to say, for some reason this is coming up for review. And that's what I mean by it being a dynamic kind of thing, and whether or not it's on that sort of micro level, daily, weekly, or whether it's on yearly, 2 yearly cycles, it is a cyclical thing.
Yes. So I think too, particularly that if you go, but I really love these red pants, but there's nobody else wearing red pants. And if I'm looking around and the reason why nobody's wearing red pants is because it's gone out of fashion, but I work in an environment that's really important about being seen as being forward thinking, even though I really love them, maybe I need to rethink it.
Right.
Because there is always that relationship between that how we are perceived by others and where our brain is, like how much we can think. And if I don't want to be seen as old and dated in my ideas, I need to just be aware of the fashion. That's why it's not about following fashion, just being aware of it. Yeah. And there's other people who just love to be up with the latest fashion. So that's something that they're going to review much more frequently and turn over more frequently. And I think, so you've got to be right for you, but I think that this question particularly came from someone who has a more classic style in some ways, that is going, well, how often, now I'm here at my happy place, can I just forget it for a while? And I'm going, absolutely.
And the sub-question was, is it different for each of the 16 style types? And the answer is yes, it is different for each of the 16 style types. And it's different for each woman. So even within a style type, there may be variances within this. And that's why it's partly a style type question, and partly it's just an individual question. Because
of course, all your lifestyle, I mean, there's so many, your lifestyle, your job, and all those things, your culture, they're always going to be layered over the top. Absolutely. Of everything. So absolutely, it's different for everybody.
Yes.
And one person's, you know, I'll review, you know, very regularly versus I'll review once every couple of years. I'd go more than every couple of years, you're probably starting to become unaware.
Yeah.
So I think it's good. And also too, is I think it's really good to review, you know, your style recipe and those things, you know, regularly, you know, every year or two. Some people say every season, and this is where it's got to be what works for you.
Yeah.
But because we do grow, and so sometimes like what was great now isn't quite working. So I think that's part of it. So especially if your style recipes change, then we need to review the whole wardrobe. But I think that's a whole nother video.
It is. And I know with these videos, sometimes I'll be looking back at videos we've done some time ago and I think, that's what I wore, really? And we're talking about style, so I will have this sort of moment of, oh, well, you know, and I think of my style as being highly consistent. Like there is a very wide through line that runs through my style, and even, you know, I can see these variances in it, and that's more of an internal thing for me, and there are all these sort of kaleidoscope of factors that come into it. So interesting for you to think about what it is for you with your style journey, your happy place, your critical mass point.
Yeah, and how long it is for you. I mean, we'd love you to tell us, and if you happen to know your style type as well, we'd love to know, because I think that's really fascinating.
Absolutely.